You ready, Shane? Oh, I'll turn this thing off. All right, it's 7:30, and we're gonna start our meeting. Tonight, we have full membership, plus one alternate. Mark is here as an alternate. So, first item, so we have a quorum plus alternate. First item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of the previous minutes. Any comments, corrections, changes? As far as I'm concerned, it looked like it was complete, covered. If there are no changes or corrections to be made, I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
Motion to accept the minutes as written.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Michael. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Let's move on then. Oh, okay. We are now at that one, all right. So let me get my agenda here, okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is a report requested by Zoning Commission for CGS, Connecticut General Statute 124-8-3A. All right, let me refresh everybody. This is not a public hearing. What it is a hearing, the zoning commission by Connecticut state statute we ask the planning commission to make a recommendation as see whether the proposed change for us, which is a zone change, is compatible with our plan of conservation and development. It's not binding to them. I've seen in the past where they have ignored our recommendations. However, it's our job to give them a report or not give them a report. If we don't give them a report, it means we approve after 35 days. Here's the finding of consistency of proposed regulations or boundaries within the plan of development. In any municipality which has separate zoning commission operating under the provisions of this chapter, proposed zoning regulations or boundaries or changes thereof shall be referred to such planning commission for a report at least 35 days prior to the date assigned for the public hearing to be held thereon. The public hearing for zoning is next week, March 9th. The report shall contain the findings of the planning commission on consistency of the proposed regulation or boundaries or changes thereof within the plan of development of the municipality and any other recommendations the planning commission deems relevant. The failure of the planning commission to report prior to or at the hearing shall be taken as approval of such proposals. The report concerning consistency with the plan of development and a statement of the vote of the planning commission approving, disapproving, or proposing a modification of such proposal shall be publicly read at any public hearing held thereon, which means whatever we give as a report will be read into the record at the zoning meeting. The full report of the planning commission regarding such proposal shall include the reasons for the commission's vote thereon and shall be incorporated into the records of any public hearing held thereon by the zoning commission. A proposal disapproved by the planning commission may be adopted by the zoning commission by a vote of not less than 2/3 of all members of the zoning commission. That means if we say no to this proposal, they can still overrule. So just to let people understand that. Now, we received a significant amount of documentation for this application. Here's one file. I guess he's in favor of it. And here's another file against. I took time today to go through our plan of development. I spent about an hour or so. And what I find is, even though I was part of the writing of this, I think Linda was also, back in 2015, we did a lot of emphasis on that time of economic and commercial development. However, we did not do it on Candlewood Lake Road. We concerned ourselves with more on 202 and the Four Corners area. In fact, most of the book is about the Four Corners area. So we neglected. So we're today to say, is this zone change mentioned in this book? No, it isn't. However, it is commercial development in that area. If you were to ride down that road, you would say, in that area, it looks very commercial. However, there is scattered residential homes in the area, right on the border of where the commercial zone is at this point. So our charge here, after I make my comments, is I'll listen to the comments of the commission who've read all this material, is either to say, yes, we think this is consistent with this document, we disapprove it, it's not consistent with this document, or do nothing and let zoning decide it for themselves which way they want to go. So I will entertain any discussion. Anything on this you want to say, Scott, or Linda, or John?
Mike has some.
About the
You
proposed zone change? I just had a question about the so-called gymnastics is 501c, correct?
I'm sorry.
It's a 501c.
Yes, I believe it is.
Are there any other marine commercials that are 501c?
I don't know.
No,
And
the 501c3 is a nonprofit organization.
Right.
So basically, like any of your civic clubs and stuff like that, like our youth sports programs, most of them are 501c3s, like your VFWs, your American Legions, your, like the Irish Cultural Center.
whether it's a 501c or not, it's really not relevant to the question that's being asked, because
The
they're asking
question's about
about
the
a
zone.
zone
Well, yeah, he
change.
was asking if there were any
No.
Any other
marines,
marine
but,
commercial zoning? Any marine commercial?
there would
that are
really be
501?
no marine commercial,
Well, that's what they're asking to change to.
right.
They're working under a special permit, so,
I'm just curious. I just,
yeah,
you know.
no.
I should say I've never heard of any being a 501c3 in the area. Not to say that there isn't one somewhere, but I don't believe there's any in this area that may fall under that.
Okay, that was one question. And the other one I had was, you were talking about the septic system has been, you know, pumped regularly and everything like that. Did the town sanitarium sign off on it?
Doesn't have
Do we
to,
know? He doesn't have to.
no. If you go
That
through the
negates
plan of development, one of the things that's mentioned by one of the parties is the fact that in our plan of development, the WPCA has in its future plans to sewer the Candlewood Shores area,
Well, the
including going
peninsula.
up Lake Candlewood Road. Okay, so that means somewhere in the future, they will have
Possible, it's
sewers,
possible.
which really supports commercial activity.
Okay. That was my only concerns.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Because I'd like to understand which way we want to go.
I do. There are two things I was weighing. One was the rationale that was given. I'm not seeing, as many times as I read it in the supportive information, why now? That's the part I'm not following. The property has been doing what it's been doing apparently for quite some time, at least 15 years, more. I'm not sure I understand the rationale of why now? Why this?
Why now?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
And then weighing that against, again, what's in the planning, the plan of conservation and development, while it's maybe not mentioned specifically, the principles are to enhance the community character, so there's a question there, and then grow smarter, right? So, the marinas in that area, I think, have grown quite a bit.
certainly have.
So there's a question there, do we want more of that? And is that the character?
Not necessarily. However, it's a commercial.
Mhm.
The character right now, which I would say is more predominantly commercial than residential,
Mm-hmm,
especially where they're talking about doing it.
mm-hmm,
But that's character.
mm-hmm. It-
It doesn't have anything to do with the,
Well, that's in the plan.
yeah,
I read something that was in 2019, I think there was a ZBA discussion on parking and stuff like that. And actually, there was, within the writing, there was, one of the attorneys mentioned that the so-called site buffers the neighboring properties from the commercial use that's taking place in the marinas. So by removing that, does that remove that buffer, right? So,
don't know.
uh,
Again, that's a zoning decision whether they want to remove the buffer or not.
okay, but
We're not zoning, we're planning.
I'm not pretending to be.
No,
What we're doing is we're weighing all this with what is mentioned in the plan of conservation and development,
yeah,
right?
right.
And what I see is what's the gain against what's, again, what could be going against perhaps what we consider to be the community character of that area, and growing smarter as well. So that was my interpretation.
Okay.
I don't know how
So
others
how-
may feel on that.
I don't know. I'm at the point where I really haven't decided very firmly one way or the other. I was waiting to be convinced.
I mean, I'm not seeing how, weighing
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
the
I know,
potential
yeah.
long-term damage against the character or the growing smarter against what's being gained. I don't see, the rationale doesn't convince me that there's a long-term benefit there to ignore the other pieces.
Can you elaborate on that comment? Like, what do you mean, there's no,
Well, there is
Benefit.
rationale in
Well,
the application.
Yeah, one concern I have in that area, and this is me personally, just, is, the fact is that marinas in Connecticut, they're mostly for half the year, they're boat warehouses. That's the, unfortunate reality. We're in Connecticut, right? So, and when I drive down Candlewood Lake Road, approaching that area, the first thing I see is hills and hills of boats in storage.
blue tarp?
Exactly. So by doing this, are we potentially allowing more of that?
Potentially.
Right. And so that's where I have a concern.
But
But
If
you-
we're in
you al- you
Miami,
also
maybe
may-
there's a different
You also may
story.
be allowing boat repair, you might be also allowing restaurants.
Mhm.
There are other commercial activities that can go there, but
Is that the intention here?
we have no idea.
Well, the
Okay.
intention, I believe, and I could be misspeaking, is with it being basically two civic organizations that are in there. Okay? And I think they're trying to preserve some of the heritage and also give
Yeah. Support that.
a place for our veterans to have a place to, be with other veterans
Yep.
and whatnot. I mean, I don't see them looking to sell the property to the marina next door. I think they're looking to solidify their spot in Brookfield as their civic organization. So, I mean, they would have to have, I guess, something stating that this will, like, I know with certain clubs in like the Danbury area and whatnot, the property will always be a private organization, private club. It can't be used for anything else, and it's in their charter, so to speak. That would be my only concern, is as long as it was continued to be a charter of being a,
Yeah, but weighing that again, they've been where they have been for how many years now?
Yeah.
Doing what they're doing.
right.
Why not? And the rationale doesn't convince me of why can't they just keep doing that?
Well, I think a part of it is that the fact that they have a neighbor or two that are having issues. Because like any civic organization, your main goal is to get it to grow, right? So you want to bring your heritage to more people. So naturally, it's going to, hopefully, if you're doing it right, increase your membership. So I can see where now there's more people than there were, say, in 1988. Where now we have a lot more, especially with the VFW portion of it, we have a lot of young veterans now. And they don't have a place to go with people of their, I hate to say people of their kind, but people
Yeah.
that have been in the same situation as
Right,
them.
right.
That's my aspect of it, and this probably should have been zoned differently back in 1988.
Right.
So I think this is an oversight on the town of Brookfield for the last 40 years, so to speak. This should have been done back then. I don't believe they generate more noise than any one of those marinas, or the Hatch, that's another half a mile down the lake. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. I think they're gonna bring more good into that area than bad,
But
Well-
you don't live next door to them. And I think that's where the issue is with noise and tents up and
But when-
parties and
when-
everything.
And we were getting complaints from people that were there pre-88, before the club was there. Then, I don't wanna say that it would hold more weight to it, but you bought a house literally 400 yards from one of the biggest marinas on the lake. So you already bought it knowing that there was going to be,
They could have been there longer. I don't know how long they were there. No.
well, in one of the papers, it said
Said
that
the
he
80s.
bought the house in 88 or
Oh,
89.
88?
So, but the thing is you go into something knowing what your neighbors already are. And the
Well-
marina is close enough that the social club's not going to make that much more noise. It's just now there's noise in January and February when the marina's closed. But is it any more noise than June, July, August?
But I still don't see why does a club like this need to be a marina? Why do they need that?
Well-
I've been to VFWs, and I haven't seen too many marinas next to most of those, right? Been to other organizations, clubs, very few of them are marinas,
Well, I think they're looking more for the commercial standpoint of it than over the marina portion of it. And if they become a marina, some of their members can utilize the lake to come to the club.
And then that goes back to what I was saying, my concern about expansion of the marinas and what we're seeing and more boat warehousing potentially, that kind of thing. That's where I have that concern.
Right.
Where by it existing as it is, they can continue to do what they do as an organization, you know, but perhaps limiting more tarps and things like that and further growth. That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, the question, the applicant, the answer to question 4, it says if the zone amendment is granted, the present use of the property without any expansion of that use would become more conforming and in particular public health,
Well, I don't.
They're just saying they're not gonna
mentioned
expand
they're
anything.
grow.
right?
Well, I'm talking growing expansion membership wise,
Yeah,
not.
yeah, they're saying they're not gonna expand the
footprint.
property, yeah. So it's gonna stay the same, right?
And it says
According
in
to
this
their answer
rationale
here.
that the
Question 4.
club exists in a neighborhood that is commercial, and its zoning
Well-
designation residential limits its ability to make necessary property improvements and updates, which have a negative impact on the neighborhood real estate values. So the zone change should have been included in the 2008 rewrite.
Do you have any knowledge of that history or anything like that?
As I said, Lake Candlewood area, even though we had a year's worth of putting this together, and we probably had a half a dozen or more public hearings on the thing, nobody even mentioned the Lake Candlewood area, so. The only mention we ever got was when WPCA came in and said, yeah, we'd like to do the shores in the future, and go up Lake Candlewood Road, which, when you do that, you know, we've been listening, or you've been following your newspaper reports. There's a big move up in Hartford right now to make affordable housing available in residential areas. Single-family homes, they could go in there, and we've seen cases right now, and Bethel has a case where they want to tear down a single-family home and put in 30 apartments in a small area. So keeping it residential doesn't also make sure that, doesn't guarantee that it's going to stay residential, in the sense that we're not limiting growth. We can't, I'm looking at it from, is it a commercial area or is it a residential area? And to me, it clearly is starting to lean commercial. I mean, it's unfortunate the neighbor's sitting there, right there, with the growth coming right at them. I can understand. I understand his commercials, his feelings, but I don't know. Do we have enough for a consensus or not? Consensus is what?
I believe we should make the change.
We should make the change? Mike? Are we
Yeah, I
there?
think it would be okay. I would be on board with that.
There's you, me,
see
and
any
Linda.
difference.
Okay. Should I call a vote, Linda,
Well,
or?
I'm on the other side of it.
Yeah, I'm
What?
kind of on the fence myself.
My approach to this is, when it comes to the lake, I'm gonna err on the side of caution when it comes to the growth. It is, one of our greatest assets, and so, if I'm gonna be wrong, I'd rather be wrong on the side of caution when it comes to growth in the lake.
Okay, that's fine. No
So
problem.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the proposal of zoning, the zoning change, in that it is consistent with the plan of development. I'll entertain that motion. You're making that motion,
I will
John?
make that motion.
Is there a second? Michael seconds?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Yea or nay, Melinda?
Nay?
Nay. Aye. So it's 3-2.
Yeah, whatever you wanna call it, yeah, nay.
Yeah. Nay. Okay, that's fine. Motion carries. I'll let it be noted that it was a split vote. The,
Pardon me, Mr. Chairman, who will put that into a report for the commission, for the zoning commission?
Well, the report basically is, it can go with our minutes.
Okay. So it will be, I'll deliver the minutes to the zoning commission on behalf of this commission? Is that what you'd like the minutes to stand as the report? Okay, very good.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Next item on our agenda is, there's no new business right now. I-84 proposed DOT improvements, draft letter by Vice Chair Scott Dale. It's in the packet. You want to talk to it?
Yeah, last meeting, as you folks probably remember, I brought this up. This is the, this ties to the I-84 Danbury project that's taking place by the Connecticut DOT. They have a number of different concepts of different improvements that they want to make to I-84. And the one that I've targeted that I think is most directly beneficial to Brookfield is Concept 10, which addresses the merge of southbound Route 7 into Interstate 84 going westbound. And so this letter is to the Department of Transportation on this project, just to let them know that we support the project. And we hope to see that it goes forward. There's other concepts that they're considering, different parts of Interstate 84. They've actually just included a couple newer ones that might address issues with Exit 8 and even Exit 7 going northbound from 84
Okay, yeah,
westbound.
yeah.
Yeah, even a couple
Yeah,
new
it's
ideas.
a little bit tricky over there.
Yeah, a couple that are better than others, but I think Concept 10 is the one that we should get behind. I think it's something we can all, I think we've all sat in it at some point, so.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah. So,
Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
so I guess the three things are: do you agree with the gist of the letter? Do you agree with the format of the letter? And do you have any tweaks that you'd like to have done otherwise?
I think the letter's fine.
Mhm.
If anybody wants to tweak it, but I think we should forward this on to DOT.
Mr. Chairman, do you want the land use office to redo it on Town of Brookfield
Yes.
letterhead with planning commission?
Yes, we would like to do it on official Brookfield station.
Right, and then would it come under your name with a signature and then the other commissioners? Or should
I
we-
guess I'll sign it as chair.
Okay. All right.
And if I could get a copy, I'll forward it to some contacts I've had with DOT on this as well. Does everybody agree with the gist?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to forward this letter that Scott has proposed to the DOT.
I'll make a motion to support
Motion
this
made by
letter.
John, second.
I'll second.
Wyndham, second. All those in favor?
All right.
Okay. Status of commissioner training courses completed, the CLEAR projects. She left.
She's out in the hallway talking with,
Here it is. Well, I finished. I did all three. I sat through the,
I did one of them,
well, Liz,
we missed.
I did all three.
you did all three.
So then
we
you
got
can come
two.
back and do them again, right? They're,
Oh, it's on tape also.
Right.
We'll-
Yeah.
we'll-
Yeah, they sent me the
We'll
email
wait for Rochelle
that
to
they
come
had.
back and.
Yeah,
we'll-
it's all.
That's what I was concerned about. I figured they would be coming back around, so.
Yeah.
We'll wait for
I got
Rochelle
through
to
one
come
of them.
back and we'll let her know that we did have people, because she wants to be able to send that to the state. Oh, I got 3 emails today saying that I had completed classes.
Yeah,
Yes,
they sent it to
I got the same one.
proof
Do they send that email to the land use office or just to you?
to the individuals.
The individuals. We could afford them to the land use office, but we
It
didn't have
tells you
to.
how much time you spent on it. It said
You didn't cheat.
93 minutes.
Yeah, they weren't exactly 90 minutes, were they?
No, no.
However, they didn't start on time most times either.
That was funny, when I seen the email and it said you were on for 93 minutes, I was like, oh, that's about right.
114 is one I saw.
I will tell Rochelle when she comes back in that we did that, and we'll move on to correspondence.
Right here.
Oh, here she is.
There she is.
Rochelle, we're on the commissioner training courses completed.
Okay.
Both Scott and I have completed all 3.
Oh, nice.
I'll let the other folks tell you where they stand.
Anyone else?
I got one done,
Yes, you did, that's right.
and we received the email today that they're gonna come back and around and you can go do the other
Yeah. And
ones
these
that you
things
missed.
are, at the moment, these things are all, honor system. So, and I believe many of these videos, the webinars are,
The webinars
Yeah.
are on now, they
yeah,
say.
and they have been recorded, and so if you
Yep.
watch them, and
You're watching
and
during your
actually
lunch hour.
focus, it just, tell me that you, took such and such course online or whatever, you saw it and you watched it and you,
Yeah, when you register for it, like, when I got the email today, it tells you how long you were on it.
oh, okay, great.
It gives you a time,
Yeah, yeah.
93 minutes or whatever
Yeah,
it was on.
okay.
so.
So, so thank you. So, because I will need to report in March, that we all passed, or took these courses, so many hours.
I will get on that as soon as possible. I've just been,
Yeah, now you can go back and
Inundated.
they're gonna,
so,
I missed
So-
two.
Mm-hmm.
See if it's in here.
Quickly, just for the record, you need to report by the end of this month?
No, I'm sorry, March of 2024.
Oh.
So you have a full year to, no, yeah, you have, unfortunately, you have this full year to comply with the 4 hours. I guess these 3 courses, though, were equal to 4 hours, is that what I understand, right?
It's 4.5 hours.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did more.
Okay.
We
Bonus
gave-
time.
We gave our blood.
Bonus, right. Now, one of the hours, so-called hours, has to be on affordable housing.
It was.
Yeah, so don't forget that, when you're looking for courses to take, one of the hours has to be about affordable housing.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are we finding them? Because how do we find them to begin
The
with?
courses,
Yeah.
I can send you the link.
Can you send me the link again, please?
I can send it again.
can you send it to
We
me
are-
also?
Oh, wait.
Michelle?
Oh, my goodness, sure. I will do that.
I don't need it anymore. I'm done with it.
I know.
Okay. Oh, so you're handing this over to me?
The next place that was gonna go was the circular file.
Oh,
so-
okay.
No. All right, so I'll send the links to you again.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That includes you too, Mark.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
Yep, he just asked for it. Okay.
Okay. All right, we're ready to go on to minutes of other meetings, highlights and lowlights, whatever. First meeting was, that we're discussing is the zoning commission meeting of January 26th. You may recall that we had a similar situation as we did tonight, whether we would be opposed or for a houses of worship in a C1 zone. Whether it was consistent with the
POCD.
POCD, Plan of Conservation Development. And they were working on that, the zoning commission, and at this point in time, they're continuing their review of that. They've had public hearings on that, and it's still going on. Interesting, on the bottom of this, one of the members commented that no religious organization has come forth to say anything about the proposal. I thought that was an interesting comment.
It's not required, right?
Okay. approve, is there anything else there that jumped out at me? No. The other things, oh, yeah. They had discussion on, they tabled the 202 Candlewood Lake application, waiting for us. Public hearing required to be set, and they did set it for March 9th. Next set of minutes we'll look at is the Board of Selectmen. Any comments on those zoning minutes? I'll go on. Board of Selectmen meeting, they had a presentation on generator emergency management. They want to get a generator for the senior center, paid for by the capital non-recurring fund. That was carried. Setting a new health fee schedule. They're trying to reactivate the youth commission. They're trying to get a new ordinance revision set through. And there's going to be a public hearing on that next week, 6:30 p.m. We're going to have a special town meeting on that was already held. Phase 4 was also, that was, they had two special town meetings on the 22nd, which I didn't have a report on. They went forward with a grant for the Trails program to get a submitted application not to exceed $320,000, including an up to and not to exceed $64,000 of town match for engineering design to extend the Still River Greenway north from Newberry Village on Federal Road to New Milford Town Line. And that carried through for that expenditure. She announced that there was a vacancy on our commission for alternates. There was a meeting, she reported that the 5G cell tower was unanimously approved by the siting council. And she had an interesting discussion about cemeteries, or Harry Shaker did anyhow. If you weren't aware that the cemetery commission is now run by one person, and that person has resigned. Little oversight for running cemeteries currently. Town's now working with Mayor Bass of New Milford to possibly use their cemetery staff to assist Brookfield. I have family buried there, so that does concern me. The Historic District Commission has got approval from the Board of Selectmen to support an application of for $20,000 non-matching Historic Commission grant to enable a study to be done for the establishment of a Historic District 2 in Brookfield. That was approved. We have now a new director of Parks and Rec. Her name is Laura Murphy. She was hired. That was done at that meeting. And that's all I had. Anything else that came up with the Board of Selectmen's meeting people like to discuss? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on to the Charter Revision Commission. They're getting closer to submitting their final report. However, there was no discussion about the potential merging of zoning with planning in the minutes. So we don't know where that stands. Guess we'll have to wait for the final report. Next is Zoning Boards of Appeals, February 6th meeting. Really pretty much business as usual. There's really nothing for us here, I think, for us to discuss. They're doing a lot of their internal housekeeping right now. Zoning Commission had another meeting on February 9th. They continued the public hearing on the church in the C1 zone. They closed the public hearing. And they made a motion to approve the application, and it failed, 4-1, 1-4-0, 1 voting aye, 4 against. And the rest is pretty much, oh, actually, here it is. Neil Marcus showed up under new business to discuss 70 Stony Hill, which is you want to bring an application to zoning to prove it, rather than something that we recommended 5 years ago, 4 years ago, a long time ago. So we'll see. Eventually, I guess Neil will be back for us to end that suit. However, let's see. And they tabled the item on at that meeting on 202 Candlewood Lake Road. Public hearing still March 9th. And they're discussing about changing the fee schedule for their stuff. Somebody on the end of the table owes some input or something, I don't know. That's the end of that. Let's see, then we had the Economic Development Commission, which they discussed the block party that they're thinking about having this summer. They're starting to pull together the folks for planning it. They also said that the Streetscape Phase 3 is hopefully going to be completed by summer. It won't be ready in time for the block party, though. Also, they stated, Mr. Dombrowski stated that the Lower Federal Road project is projected to be completed by fall. He added that 20% of the project is state funded, while 80% of it is federally funded. Sidewalks and traffic lights will be added to the area near Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. And he talked about the deep grant application for the Greenway. I don't know why. First EV station charging station will be going in at 15 Station Road. It was noted that Brookfield has been recognized throughout the state for requiring an EV infrastructure. And the Chamber of Commerce is going to have a gala on March 11th if you want to go. They're selling tickets for $100. And there'll be food, an open bar, and a raffle. And we got this in the mail while we were talking about economic development. This report from Greg Dombrowski. If you haven't taken the time to read it yet, please, I think it's well worthwhile. It was well done. And I, on behalf of the commission, would like to thank Greg for putting the time and effort into this. This is one of the, it's very concise and really gives key indicator where we're going and so forth. It's almost like an update to the plan of development without being called a plan of development. It's really that good.
Right.
So, our thanks to Greg for doing that job. And that's the end of that. We're now into informal discussion. And I have one item for informal discussion. We got a note from Tara Carr today that she would like us to get involved with the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, for municipal personnel. She'd like us to take a look at the webinar and schedule ourselves to read it. However, I got a question on that one. I hit the button to get to the webinar. Are we members of the CCMO, which is the Certified Connecticut Member Officials, or not? Because if we're not members, we gotta pay $120 to take this webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I saw that problem. I myself went to the, I realized that there's a fee. So I would I'm gonna talk to the first select woman about it, but we are, saying we, yes, we, the town, many people in the town are members of this thing. I don't know how many memberships there are and how many people can sign up under that membership. I think those are the questions. But yes, indeed, she's a member. I
Yeah,
know
but
the
we
zoning
can't,
department
we
usually
can't all go as Tara Carr.
No, I know, but I don't know how many memberships that covers. It may
Yeah.
be there's different kinds of memberships often with these groups. Sometimes they're, commissions and, but I don't have any details of how that can be viewed.
When we get some details on
Yeah.
whether we can do it without spending $120.
Well, exactly. I'm certain that she doesn't expect people to spend $125.
Oh, no. We expect the town to give us the $120.
Well, there should be a way to see it, similar to these training courses, see it afterwards. I don't know if they'll allow people to see
Well,
it afterwards.
it's a webinar, it's taped. Or you can join as a Zoom, that's what it says, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It'd be nice to look at that. Tom Hennick has himself come here at least, well, I know he's been here at least once since I've been here. He comes, he travels around the state giving Freedom of Information Act, lectures and, what you can do, what you can't do in meetings and things like that. It's very worthwhile. His jokes get old after 7 years, and I've heard that they're still the same, but he's, they're funny the second and third time you've heard them, but the fourth and fifth,
Yeah.
But really very, very worthwhile, a very knowledgeable man about the Freedom of Information Act regulations and what they require of us as commission members, or I should say as you as commission members, of you as commission members. So
Is he gonna plan to do any, any talks or
any
anything like
lectures
that,
here?
or lectures?
Let's see, they did invite him once, as I say, this past year. It's often the case that he'll sometimes appear in a neighboring community too, and, usually they're open to
You can just pop
the
in
public. But,
and listen to it.
but, I haven't gotten any wind that he'd be coming, here soon. But I'll try to see if there's a way to view this, for
Yeah,
free.
I viewed it, I was getting ready to,
I know.
all right,
I
at
know, me
least
too.
let's see what it looks like, see how the site works.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to see if you could do it, yeah.
yeah.
And it said, yeah,
Well,
so-
you know, that's $20. I was like, whoa,
yeah, exactly.
something to talk about tonight.
So I'll see if we can get, something going on
Okay.
that one.
Good. Anybody else got something for informal discussion?
I'm good.
Point. Linda, they want your motion so bad. They
I
want to hear
know.
about the Murdoch trial.
Oh, one thing.
Found guilty.
Guilty,
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 was found guilty.
I got one other question.
Ah, see,
Not a
I knew if I delayed long enough, I'd get somewhere.
Why do they call this, the so-called club there, gymnastics club?
Maybe
It's
they-
in the name, are they gonna
Right.
make, I just was confused about it when I said, it's not
Because it used
gymnastics.
to be a gymnastics club.
Yeah.
Oh, it used to be?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, okay, so.
have you ever
that
been in the
clears it.
building? Have you
I've
ever
been
been in
there.
that building?
Not on the outside.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
on the inside, there's a large room that I think was
So it was
used
a
at one
gymnastics.
point.
Okay, I was just curious why
just-
they had that name there, it was like,
It's a national organization.
Yeah,
right,
And they started as a gym, like a health club, basically,
Okay.
where you go to work out. Very early on, it was called the gymnastics club. and
so when I
then
first seen the
retained that name.
application, that's what I thought, they were gonna open a
No,
gymnastics
it's retained
center.
the name. And
I was like,
but I think you can work out there. I think.
I've only
believe so,
been
there's room there, right?
upstairs, I don't know if there's a basement to it, I've been there for a social event, I guess. One of my friends who used to be a police officer here rented it for his son's birthday. So, I've been in it, it's a nice little spot, everybody was very nice, but,
Okay, that.
but there is a big open room that I thought I saw some mats tucked
Yeah,
in the
probably
corner.
tumbling and all that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that clears that up. to see the application. I didn't hear anybody talking about gymnastics.
Okay,
Okay, that was it.
we're ready for Linda.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second? Boy, you were right there tonight, Mike, I'll tell you.
I'm next to Linda, so
Yeah.
it's close.
Right, it's right, it's easy.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Turn off your mics.